This week's Torah portion, Tisa, the Torah writes, Moshe is up on the mountain, and God says to him, I'm giving you all the laws of how to build the tabernacle, and among them is Vasisa Kior Nechoshes. You shall make a laver of copper, V'chano Nechoshes Torachza, and the laver stand, in order that the Kohanim can use it to wash themselves before they do the service in the temple. Put it between the Ohel Moed of Mizbeach, between the altar and the tent of meeting, and put water in it. In another parsha hence, though, when the Jewish people actually manufacture this laver, it says it's slightly different. It says, Vayasas Kior Nechoshes, they made it out of copper, and they made the stand out of copper, and they made it out of the mirrors that the women donated. Rashi says, what's going on here? The daughters of Israel used to use these mirrors to make themselves look good. And they brought them as gifts to the Mishkan. And Moshe was very upset. He was disgusted by this, because these mirrors were used for the evil inclination. But God said to him, no, these are more dear than anything else, because through them the women enticed their husbands to have children when the husbands had worked very hard in Egypt. And that's why the Jewish people merited to come out of Egypt, because they had all these children despite working so hard in Egypt, and there was a Jewish people to take out. But my question is, if God is saying take the mirrors because they're so important, they're so holy, because they were used in Egypt to have children, what has changed? Why take the mirrors? What are they going to use now? On the contrary, if God thinks these mirrors are so important, he should say to Moshe, don't take them. You're right, Moshe. They should keep them and utilize them. I'd like to read this Rashi actually in the opposite way. I think that it's Moshe who thinks these mirrors are so important, and that's why he doesn't want to accept them. How would one read it? As follows. Moshe was very upset because these mirrors are used for the Yetzer Hara, for the evil inclination. In other words, Moshe feels that you have to engage with the evil inclination. What is God saying? God's saying, no, the Jewish people already did that. It already served its purpose. They already had enough children back in Egypt. We took out the Jewish people. And there's no reason anymore to engage with the Yetzer Hara. In fact, I think because now they're going to have the Mishkan, the tabernacle, God is saying they're tzaddikim, they're righteous. They're not going to have to engage with the evil inclination anymore. They'll have children because it's a mitzvah, and that'll be it. They won't have to entice their husbands if the husbands are tired, or they'll be more like spiritual automatons. But Moshe, who's a human being, I think is saying the opposite to God. He's saying just because you have a Mishkan doesn't make everybody tzaddik, and that's not actually who human beings are supposed to be. The greatness of the human being is that they can take the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, and figure out how to use it for good. Soloveitchik mentions this in Ala Tshuva on repentance, where he says the goal is not to trounce the Yetzer Hara, to get rid of the evil inclination, but it's to raise up evil and bring it to a new level. As the Talmud says, one who does teshuva out of love, their sins are transformed into merits. How are their sins transformed into merits? Because we through the teshuva out of love, we figure out how to take that which is negative and utilize it for something positive. And this is perhaps something that God does not exactly understand, but Moshe does, because Moshe is a human being who has the Yetzer Hara, who has an evil inclination. And so I think that's part of the lesson of the kior, of the laver. Interestingly, it's used to purify, and it does end up getting made out of the mirrors. But I think that's part of the message, that the purification can come from that which was used for the evil inclination, because the human being, uniquely being a bridge between the angel and the animal, can figure out how to bring divinity to everything, how to raise up that which is seemingly not holy, and create fixing out of it and holiness out of it. May we merit this Shabbat to figure out how to utilize the physical world to make it holy. This is the main job of the Jewish people. Shabbat Shalom.